The Kokomo Press Podcast is back, and I'm your host, Jordan Grainger. And today I'm joined by my brother from another mother. He is one of my favorite co-hosts. His name is Hypocrisy Jones, a.k.a. Jordan Bell. And he brought along a special treat. Yes, he brought on a returning guest, his lovely fiancé, Kim Stewart. Soon to be Kim Jones or Kim Bell. And our special guest today, he has never been on the show before, but he was a treat. He's 19 years old, he's a poet, and his name is Seth. Sorrell. He was great to have on. He's such an old soul in a big, gigantic young man's mountainous body. He has a new book of poetry coming out called The Vicious Rose. You can go ahead and pre-order that on Kindle if you want to have that, or he'll have hard copies soon for order. But he was just a lovely guest. He told us about poetry, how he got into it during COVID, how it helped him really express himself and it lets him write, and how he used to write stories and do acting. And then he talked a little bit about what's going on in the world right now. And we talked about stand-up comedian. We talked about Nick Swardson getting in trouble for slurring on stage. We talked about that crazy news that the guy dropped about Matt Rife. We talked about a ton of stuff in the news. We talked State of the Union. We talked robots. We talked local comedy, including our open mic. We talked about the local Busted newspaper page. They have merch now, and guess what? I'm a top fan. So you guys are going to have a great time hanging out with myself, Hypocrisy, Kim, and Seth. We had a great panel for you, and we hope you enjoy this episode of the Kokomo Press Podcast, baby. Woo!
Warning, this video contains adult content not suitable for children.
What's up? It's the Kokomo Press Podcast. I'm Jordan Grainger, and the panel is hot in here, and we've got a lot of words involved, and we're saying things in a very sweet way. First off, in the black, as always, Hypocrisy Jones is in the house, and in the green chair we have his lovely fiance and colorist. It is Kim the Chemist, aka Kimberly Stewart. Kimberly Jones in the future, and our special guest today in the red chair, Seth Sorrell, right? Did I say that right? Sorrell. I should have asked that before. Anyway, here we go. We got the group in the house. Oh, thank you. You guys are too kind. Thank you. I know we're killing it. Anyway, welcome to the Kokomo Press. Thanks for coming in, Seth.
Yes.
Sorrell.
Yes.
I like that. How you put a little stank on the beginning.
Yeah, Sorrell is its French name.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well,
vive l'empereur.
Yeah. Yes. It's nice to see you. It's a wonderful day.
I only know one French phrase, and it's "la derrière de poulet."
What's that mean?
Chicken butt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
all right. Yeah, chicken butt.
Sorry.
It's fun. Now I just want to know why that's what you know in French.
Oh, because we made our teacher teach it to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was it?
Yeah.
You were in Germany.
That's
and
the
you were
one thing that stuck out.
I know you were in Germany for a minute. Did you learn a lot of German when you were there? Because I didn't learn hardly any Italian.
I learned German slang.
Yeah, just bad words.
It's like my favorite word in German word is like tschüss, which is can be a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's like hello, goodbye.
Yeah.
It's mostly goodbye and shit like that, but it's just like later.
Yeah.
My German teacher, we always called her Frau.
Yeah.
She'd always say at the end of class, "Tschüss bis morgen."
Yes.
She would say, you'd say Fräulein. Fräulein. Whenever it says Frau or Fräulein, I just think of fucking Sound of Music.
So I assume "Tschüss bis morgen" is like
like
see you later,
tomorrow,
see you in the
see you
morning.
tomorrow,
I gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha.
I took French.
See you in the morning.
What do you know in French?
Some things.
Okay.
I don't
That seemed very
on the spot.
sordid.
One
You said
thing.
that some
like
things.
to say your names, like Je m'appelle Kim,
I read it.
and then Tu t'appelles comment.
Yeah.
That's what's your name.
How do you say what's going on later? You guys want to go hit the mall, maybe see if there's any churros?
I don't know.
I was like, how many weird things can I say in one sentence?
I don't know.
Get it? Yeah.
I don't know.
I knew good. All I knew is Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. Yeah.
And then when I was in Naples, I worked with the youth group when I was in there, like the church youth group. They were always looking for volunteers, and I played guitar, and I was like, I can lead worship, and it'll be fun. And so I was doing that with them, and we had Naples and Mannheim. So Naples, Italy, Mannheim, Germany. So they were like trying to force them together, and so everybody wanted it to be Man Apples, but then they got mad at it because they're like, that sounds a little risque. So then they did like Napleheim or something like that. It was way gay.
Napleheim.
It's like I like the Man apple's better. Man Naples. I did get to go to Sorrento with them. That was one of the coolest things I did. Is like we all got together and we went through the entire Amalfi Coast and we took like speedboats, like 10 of those sumbitches, and we just drove them out to like Sorrento, which is like this beautiful island area, and we went swimming in this clear crystal water. It was like amazing.
That's not where they make the cheese.
What's this?
Never mind.
You're thinking of Sargento.
Yeah, my bad.
That's what do you call a sergeant who makes the cheese? Sargento.
He was
There we go.
he was talking about like we went off and took speed, and then he said boats after, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be an interesting story. Then he said boats, and I was like, okay, well,
No, I couldn't do. You can't do drugs in the military. Well, I don't know in the army, you can, right?
well,
No, you're not supposed to.
But you guys didn't have a zero tolerance policy, right? You guys could like.
Well,
get
no,
rehab.
like in Germany, like they could drug test you anytime, and it was kind of weird because they sold weird things in Germany that like
Yeah.
be like it's legal, and then you'd find out it's not.
I didn't see drugs the entire time I was there, and in Naples, and then I went out one time to like a party at an actual Italian person's house, and they were like, hash, and I'm like, I don't think I'm fucking with that. Yeah, they were like smoking hash. I was like, yeah, I really don't want to get in trouble. It's like I actually like being here. I did take hydrocodones all the time though. Woo! Do. That's all I got. I don't have the other one anymore. Anyway, how's everybody doing? How's your
Thanks,
weekend
Wagner.
been? Huh?
Thanks, Wagner.
I know, right? How's your weekend been, Seth?
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been extremely caffeinated as
Yeah. Went to the old Bucks.
Yeah.
The old Starbucks on
We're
now.
ran by Starbucks too. We get it.
yeah, and
everybody's
I have to have my Monster too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said you've been on a different podcast. You
Yeah,
know? Thought maybe you'd be powered by coffee junkies now.
Well, I am going to Coffee Junkies later, so that'd be fun.
There you go.
They did so anyway, let's get into it. Seth, you are a poet.
Yes.
You actually have a couple of books
Yes.
out there. The first one is The Mountain, right?
From the mountain.
From the Mountain. And I don't think I don't have a picture of that one specifically, but I do have a picture of your new, oh my God. It went right out on me. I do have a picture of your new book, and we'll post that in just a moment here once I get to where I need to be, because this thing sometimes likes to play. There we go.
Yes, that's the
The
cover
Vicious
for
Road.
the Vicious Rose. Yeah.
Road. Tell me a little bit about how you got into doing poetry. You're young.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
a young
19.
guy. You're like, this is
you're
a
a
book
baby.
of broken heart
Oh.
poetry.
Baby.
A book. That's what he came in and he said. I was like, a book of broken heart poetry. Yeah, you're young.
my oldest son is almost your age.
Oh, awesome.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So what got you into poetry?
So, when I was a little kid, I used to write short stories.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed doing it. I actually wrote fake film scripts for movies I never got to make. So,
Keep them.
yes.
Yeah.
It's from the mind of a third grader, so probably not very.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Five
build
Nights
on
at
that.
Freddy's. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, dude, that was my section of Gen Z. I remember when Five Nights at Freddy popped off, man. That was the biggest thing. So I kind of dropped doing writing like in middle school.
Yeah.
And then the COVID lockdown happened in 2020, and I started doing short stories again. And I decided I'm just going to write a poem.
Mm-hmm.
And so my first ever poem I wrote was about my dad and his misadventures at a Bible college.
Yeah. So Johnson?
I know Johnson's a big one. I forget the name, but he went out of state because there was this girl he was pining for.
Yeah.
She dumped him, and that's what the poem was about. And so I just kept writing poetry, and for about 3 years, I collected a lot of poems I wrote, and I heavily edited them and compiled them into From the Mountain, which was my first book, and the Tribune. Shout out to James Bennett from the Tribune for covering From the Mountain. But
Yeah.
From the Mountain was a pretty good success locally. I mean, for my first book, it didn't do too bad.
Yeah.
And I went through Amazon KDP. Do any of you all know what KDP is?
I do because you told me before, but I
Yeah.
didn't know until you told me.
So for the audience and for you all,
Yeah.
Amazon KDP it's Amazon's self-publishing service.
Okay.
So you just upload your manuscript and your cover art and all that stuff, and you do your tags, search engine optimization, and Amazon will allow you to have a Kindle version, paperback, hardcover, stuff like that. And yeah, I'm doing the second one on KDP again. And I want to say this though, self-publishing is great because you got a lot more creative control over what you write. You don't have a publisher over your head saying how you should write something or what you should write about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you do get to keep a higher amount of your royalties.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem though is you also have to cover a lot of the costs that publishers do. So
Of course.
your ISBN number, which Amazon will give you an ISBN for Amazon. But the problem though is if you take
Is that
their
Indiana state business number or something?
no, it's like a international ID number for books.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
All
See, I don't know what
books.
that is. That's why I asked.
Yeah, all books have ISBN numbers.
Okay.
It's like something to do with like the barcode and
Yeah.
stuff like that too.
Oh, gotcha.
The thing is, though, Amazon will give you a free ISBN, but if you try to take your book to say other distributor,
Walmart or
yeah,
somewhere else.
Books
they're
a
not going to
Million.
take it because it's an Amazon number.
Right.
So if you wanted to get your own ISBN, you have to cough up well over $100.
Oh, okay.
But then because you have to buy it from like the international place that does it.
Yeah.
And once you buy it, then you can take it wherever you want. But I enjoy self-publishing, but I would say for something like poetry, self-publishing is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
If I was doing like a biography or a novel, like a more full-form book,
Right.
Yeah.
I would want to have a publisher because I wouldn't want to have to cover all the costs. I know
Yeah.
my cut would go down, but
Yeah.
it would be worth it because I'd get a broader reach.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'd be great for the future. I mean, so you did your first book, From the Mountain.
Yes.
And then your second book here is The Vicious
Yes.
Rose. And this is available for pre-order
On
the
Kindle.
for the Kindle right now.
Yes.
Okay. And then the physical hard copy, like we have right here in studio, not for resale. You do not try to resell this. Do not.
Yeah, don't.
You'll get in trouble. But yeah,
I
we have.
also filed the copyright today, so
There you go.
There you go.
yeah. I'm gonna have to be like Lars Ulrich on Napster if you try to steal my
Yeah.
steal my book.
Yeah.
You're
And
like
if people want to get a hold of you, I just want to go through. This is the link tree. Go ahead and screen record this. Screen grab this. This was the link tree to get to the mountain.
Yep.
If you want to get to the top of the mountain, this is where you have to go.
Yeah.
So, anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you're a very, very business-minded 19-year-old, which is very, very impressive. What grasped me to you first off was you have this poetic power night that's going to be
Yes.
at American Dream Hi-Fi
Yep.
on March 29th
29th from
Yeah.
6 to 8.
Okay, that's what I saw first. But then I got to know you a little bit. We've been messaging a little bit. I read some poems and like I'm just kind of astonished at how like you're not like a normal 19-year-old man. Like,
No.
and that's very very
The
cool.
autism helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see if he was going to say it. I was like, I love it. I love it.
I especially when I get caffeinated, I spurg out like crazy, my man.
I like it, but you're traveling this journey of an independent artist,
Yeah.
and some of the things that you were explaining kind of sounds like being an independent musician, or
Yes.
independent anything like
Yes.
that. You're out there on the grind. You're pushing your pushing your book. You're pushing everything
P.
that you're doing. Pushing P. Yeah,
Yeah.
Big positivity. Yeah.
Product publishing.
That's totally what we mean, right?
All the
Yeah.
P's.
Yeah. But like, where do you find this hustle in you? Like, where did that come from?
Really, I've always felt like since I was a little kid, I was meant for something incredible.
Yeah.
Like when I was a little kid, I actually fantasized about becoming an actor.
Yeah.
And fun fact, I was actually in a play in 8th grade. I was a joke role. I only had one line. I was like a failed actor turned drama teacher.
Yeah.
And all I did was some kid lost a competition. I got on stage and was like, "Don't worry, kid, it's not so bad," and walked him off.
Nice.
So, but I always dreamed like I'd be something great, and that kind of changed between like acting to basketball to music, and I eventually just landed on the writing.
Yeah.
I like it.
Writing's good. I mean, as Jordan and I can both tell you, Hypocrisy and I can both tell you,
Yeah.
we are also failed actors. We shot a little bit of a couple scenes today with Marijuambies.
Yes.
With Brian Foster and Deshaun Kelly. And
There's K-Dot. Awesome.
No, that's not K-Dot.
Oh, no,
I
that's
thought
not
K-Dot- I love that. If K-Dot's listening, I loved you on the podcast, the social media fishing. That was great.
He's funny. He's a great guy. And then also, I forgot I had this one as well. Here's a behind the scenes of us doing a scene with the Jab as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we've actually we filmed. I get to tell people I filmed for my TV show and my movie this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a TV show and a movie. So as failed actors, we can tell you.
Yes.
You can continue to be a failed actor well
Yeah.
into your 30s.
No,
I guess.
I'm not a failed actor. I'm a failing actor.
Yeah. Amen.
It's all about now. It's all about what we're doing right now.
Yes, yes.
How do you feel about that, Kim? I mean, you have a man who, when you met, he had a lot of hobbies, and now he's added so many more to his bag. How does that get to you?
I like it
do?
because he always has something new to talk about, but sometimes he feels like it overwhelms. So he holds back, and then I have to like be the one to reach out like for communication, like, so tell me about this. And he's like, you don't care. You don't want to know about it. And I'm like, please, God, talk to me about
That's the
something.
one thing, man, with women, and I found out really quickly with Shelby is all they want to do is talk about their day. You know what I mean? You guys come home and you're like, you'll never. And you guys you guys both typically work in places with a lot of women, so there's a lot of politics. It's basically like watching an episode of Game of Thrones. They live an episode of Game of Thrones every day they walk. It's like politics.
I make it a point, though, with Jordan that before I start talking about my day, I ask how his day is, because my day is always so much, always, because I'm constantly talking to people, and there's so many different stories and so many different events and so much that I need to make sure that I know how his day is first, because if he's had a hard day, then sometimes I just like
don't want to unload.
Yeah.
Shelby gets off work and she's like, let me tell you about everything. And she's like, I know all these women. I don't know these women's faces, but I know their names and personalities because I have to hear about all the characters. I'm like, it's like reading a great book.
Yes.
You're like, tell me the characters. I'm imagining these people. And then when I finally get to meet one of them, I'm like, that's not who you are. I had a whole different dragon pictured in my head. And instead it's just a woman who yells. Yeah. Just a woman who, and they're all nice to me. And then to her, they're always fighting, you know?
All of my clients love Jordan.
Yeah. Well, we actually do have a poem that he wrote that, you know, do you want to recite it for us? Do you mind?
Yeah.
I'll put it up on the screen for people to see.
That doesn't make you nervous
No.
to like say them out loud?
No.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
That is so amazing to me.
I'm supposed to be a comedian, and I get nervous every time.
So let's go.
Caffeine helps. Trust me.
Caffeine. Caffeine plus autism is
yes.
It's the winning formula.
It's burgers.
It's burgers. Coffee and burgers.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead.
The dues of the accomplished. All these accolades, but emptiness remains. All this praise, but the vicious rose is unabated. You can reign supreme, but solemn it will seem.
All right, the crowd's back in here. There they are.
Ooh.
That's great.
Your pronunciation.
Yeah, you can tell he's
Fire.
been on stage before.
You can tell that you know words.
Yeah,
because
I know words. I know the best words.
Yeah, like you know, like they're like legitimately. Those are words that may not be like words that you don't hear very often, but words that you can stumble over, and I'm so impressed.
I'm very, very.
And this obviously is the poem that the title of the book came from, The Vicious Rose. Right?
Yeah, well, and the Vicious Rose is kind of an archetype that it repeats throughout the book.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed it's very.
I already read like 5 pages.
Right.
That's awesome. That's 5 poems.
Yeah, it's good.
If you don't mind, you have one here. It's called Heartbreaker's Confession.
Yes.
And it says, I apologize to you, old friend. When you wanted me free from depression throes, I handed you a vicious rose. And like that kind of stuck out to me very, very quickly. And I noticed the theme of the vicious rose. So tell us a little bit more about what got you into maybe this mood or this.
Or what the vicious rose means.
So the vicious rose, and the one thing I want to preface is I always have my own meaning and my own interpretation of what I write. But if anyone has their own meaning, then I love to hear it.
Yeah.
But for me, I wrote this book, The Vicious Rose, because 2 years ago there was this particular woman I was very close with. We were just friends, but there was some gray area a little bit. There was some, at least in my mind, where I was like, I didn't know where this was going. And we fell apart, and I was really down and out about it.
Right.
And I had already been writing poems up to that point. So I started to write more dark poems to try to heal from that pain and to find myself in that pain. And a lot of these poems have dealt with that, but also the other heartbreaks I've had in life. But there's also, it's not just relationship heartbreak. There's some poems about like family drama and tension and loss of friendship, loss of like my brotherly bond with other men in my life, things like that. Yeah. That all kind of culminate into this vicious rose, which is like, what's supposed to be like, it's love, it's supposed to be this beautiful thing. And actually I can real quick, there's another poem. It's kind of the start of the book, which kind of sets the mood for the rest of it. It's the self-titled one called The Vicious Rose. Roses are nature's affectionate feelings, painted across the earth's gardens. Roses are commonly seen, but few times felt. The rose does wonders for those who breathe its scent, but for those inexperienced with the scent, what is left is lament. The love of the rose is vicious. So basically what that is, that's setting the tone of love is supposed to be this beautiful thing that it's always seen, but very few times do you truly feel it in yourself. And that's kind of what this poem is dealing with, which sets the mood for the book. And it's not just the love of a partner, but also the love of family, friends. And when that falls apart or you don't feel it, that can lead you down some very dark paths, which what this book covers.
Well, so you wrote a lot of poems about like heartache, heartbreak, relationship stuff. So basically you're Taylor Swift is what you're saying. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And you know what? When I get to be 30, then I'm going to take all these books I've rewritten and do the Seth Sorrell version.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
With added poems I never did. And then I'm going to make a lot of money from depressed teenage boys.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. As you should, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, the incel diaries is what you call it.
Yeah.
I was just talking about that the other day because I'm writing a bit about the concept of incels. Makes me laugh because every guy is basically just an incel until a girl tells us we're not anymore.
Yeah,
until a person tells us we're not anymore.
I think a main purpose because while I do try to be inclusive, because a lot of the pain that I've felt, anyone can feel. Mm-hmm. But I have written it from a male angle because I am a man.
Yeah.
And so my poems do come from that angle, but I do feel like anyone can relate to it.
Absolutely.
So I think the main thing I want to do with my poetry is try for specifically the younger men that read my poems is that they can relate to the pain and the darkness, but just how I carry myself and how I deal with it and those things that maybe it'll lead them away from like an incel type.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll lead them to find their own purpose in life so that they don't go down a dark rabbit hole or become a loser. Basically.
Yeah, basically, I think what I'm getting from it is it's more of like, hey, here's one way to have an outlet to read or to write instead of like internalizing that type of anger or like animosity, and then outwardly like expressing it in a negative way.
And that hurts people. Yeah, and I feel like that's a problem. Is a lot of young men like Gen Z age is they don't try to find healthy ways to cope or heal with their pain or to take that pain and make it into something beautiful. Yeah. So they end up just internalizing it, and then that leads them either to self-destruction or destructing other people.
Yeah, or just yelling slurs on Xbox Live.
Yeah. Wow. I went down a rabbit hole a month ago of listening to old Modern Warfare 2 lobbies.
Oh gosh. Well, let me go ahead and throw this on there one more time before people can see the Poetic Power Night.
Yeah.
It's going to be at American Dream Hi-Fi. If you know us, you know American Dream Hi-Fi. We've done a
Definitely.
lot of comedy shows
I
there.
love
Mike Wilson's great, featuring Seth Sorrell, Tom Alexander Poetry, Jim Nielsen. Friday, March 29th from 6 to 8 p.m. That's 109 East Sycamore Street here in Kokomo, Indiana. Check that out. All right. So one of the things you just talked about a little bit was the Call of Duty thing, or like modern warfare.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys read in the news this week, there was a huge outcry for this Illinois Police Department that put out this as like a way to get new cops. They're trying to and so I guess they got in trouble because people are like, how dare you?
How do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah, like, hey guys, please, you want to join Call of Duty? No, this is you're protecting and serving. You're not here to do this isn't war.
I hella feel some type of way about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so
They're aiming at you.
Well, yeah, they are usually, but like also like I had to start like I used to play Call of Duty a lot, right?
Yeah.
I used to be really fucking good at it, but I also realized I was really fucking depressed.
Yeah.
and that like also Call of Duty gave me weird ass flashbacks from times I didn't want to remember in the first place, from being a veteran and things like that. I don't know. I love Call of Duty. I'm not telling anybody not to play it or anything like that, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just fucking weird, bro. And I don't know.
But the Peoria, Illinois Police Department definitely got called out for this, which is hilarious. You know what I mean? To me, it's just funny. It's like how tone deaf these organizations can be, where they don't realize the message that they put out in a simple. I mean, to them, they're like, oh, we just want to appeal to hey, we're part of you kids. You know, we want to be like you. But really, the message they're sending out is like, come be an overly militarized organization that wants to, trigger happy.
Be what you're playing, and and it's gross.
Do you want an automatic? Come through. I'm just kidding.
I feel like Dare did that too.
Yeah, Dare made me want to do drugs more.
Yeah, Dare is I heard a pastor that I listened to was talking about Dare, and like, oh, Dare is such a great program. I'm like, really?
Where?
What? Okay, if it's such a great program, then why hasn't it prevented a lot of these kids from becoming drug addicts?
Yeah.
Or I mean, it made some of us smarter ones.
Yeah. But I think it comes down to, I mean, you can be shown all the facts, but it has to come down to a personal conviction that either you're going to stay away from it because maybe because like my dad was an alcoholic, and one of my cousins was very drugged out. And I just knew from the pain I saw growing up, my personal conviction and the conviction of my loved ones who knew I was better than that, I knew for a fact I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to put anyone down because they decide to go do that stuff, but I'm going to try to maybe warn them. But for me personally, I'm not going to do it. Their program, it's great at giving you the facts and just how dark the drug alcohol rabbit hole goes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not really going to save any kids, because those kids, they themselves have to decide, I won't be one of them, and they have to have loved ones who will encourage them to not do it.
Yeah.
Right, and your generation is so much different than our generation growing up, because our generation growing up, it was actually like safer to try things, whereas like your generation now, there's fentanyl and everything.
Yeah.
So if I was a kid now, I probably I would be scared to take a Tylenol from somebody if I didn't see them open the package and take off the top and take out the cotton and stuff. Like no, it's a scarier world for anybody around your age who's going through life, discovering who they are and stuff. And
that's another reason why I get scared when I see some of my friends that have done like pot and stuff. Because I'm like, I think if they're doing like the legit stuff, it's not going to be as bad. But if they're just buying it off the street from some random person, it concerns me, because fentanyl and other toxins are laced in it. And I mean, I've kind of believed, now I wouldn't personally do weed, But I have advocated for at least like legalizing it so that you could tax it like we tax alcohol and drugs, so the government can get another extra form of income. And number two, if you have like the FDA watching it and saying what can be in it and what can't, then that would help prevent some of those toxins from being
Absolutely. Yeah.
so that would make it safer for those who do it, because they're not gonna get overdosed or anything.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of what the government does a lot of times is they think they're going to step in and make the problem. We'll just prohibit it. It's prohibition.
We already did prohibition, man.
Doesn't work. It didn't work for alcohol. Doesn't work for anything else. So the best thing to do is to legalize things and make them pure and regulated and done in a way so that you don't feel like it's a sword situation where you're like, oh, I have to go in the back alley. I got to meet this guy. Yeah. He's going to give it to me. I'm going to say, is this real? And he's going to say, is the money real? And then this is actually our scene from today in the Marijuambies. So I'm making a joke here. But yeah, I completely agree with that. Like it's
like women and abortions.
Long story short, know your dealers.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. I mean, I'm not playing, but also
rest in peace, Juice WRLD. Did you guys hear about the news about his girl?
What happened?
She started selling some of his merchandise, Ali Lottie, on OnlyFans. So she's like selling a lot of his old stuff, and it's been a pretty big thing that a lot of people are talking about right now. Is the ethics of selling his clothes on OnlyFans when he's dead, and like
they're technically not his clothes anymore.
I mean, I guess.
But they were.
Who's his music belong to?
I mean, that probably goes to his mother, I'd assume.
She must listen to Ye, because she said, I'm just here to get paid. I'm just here to get paid. I want to throw that out, too. I don't know. We didn't get Vultures, too. Can you believe that? I had a feeling. I mean, it's still charting right now. Like the first Vultures is still charting. A lot of people are like, hey, Ty, why aren't you ever on the cover? Why is it always Ye? This is actually Ty. That's his brother, TC. That's one of the things that I looked up as well, because I'm like, oh, man. So the first one, they're going to do Kanye and his woman, Bianca. Mm-hmm. And then in this one, this is Ty Dolla $ign with his brother, who I think passed away.
Oh.
TC. So I thought that was cool. I think it's cool that he's, maybe this one will be a little more introspective.
We'll get it next month.
Maybe a little less horny, because Vultures 1 is straight up just...
Yeah.
It's like you put that on it when you're having a good time with your lady, and you're definitely going to hear some songs that get you riled up,
Personally, for me,
go.
Personally, for me, it's not rap, but if I'm in that mood, I just put on Arctic Monkeys' album AM.
That's a good one too.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah.
Especially when I Want to Be Yours comes on.
I remember there was a girl I was hanging out with before me and Shelby were together, and she put on that album, and I was like, oh, we doing this? It's just one of those albums too. Am I young?
Yeah.
You guys know
Alex Turner.
Yeah. Do you like the new album?
Oh, The Car?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like it. It was
very ballroom, right?
Yeah, it was very much more so in line with Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting older, so they're not going to do they're not probably going to do the same garage rock sound they did.
You're not going to hear like,
Pretty Visitors or, But I
Riot
love
Van or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just too.
But I like the fact they're experimenting, because I think some bands, like AC/DC or whatever, they have that one sound that everyone knows them for, and they just ride that train.
Yeah.
And it works, but it's like Arctic Monkeys, they definitely have a lot of room for experimentation, which I love.
Yeah, all my favorite bands or favorite artists, even like Ye, when we're bringing back to Ye, is every album feels like there's a trilogy in the beginning, and some of them do have like some feel where you're like, oh, this feels a little bit like that, or I can see the how he took that and brought it to this project. Right. But typically when you're listening to a Ye album, it's like its own thing.
Yeah.
Right. It's its own entity.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing that Arctic Monkeys does as well, which is they kind of went from that like British guitar rock in the beginning, where it's like, we didn't talk about British culture and what's going on around here. And then now they're doing more like ballroom dancing shit, where it's like you're kind of like feel like you're listening. There's strings, and it's like they went from just being like a garage.
It's kind of like a Bond, like a typical Bond song at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I love it.
But it's great. It's a different version, and you can understand how guys, when they get older, that maybe they don't want to be like talking about police roughing up a guy on the streets of
Yeah.
Plus, right now they might.
Or why you always call me when you're high.
Yeah, why you always call me when you're high. That's funny. That's good stuff.
Well, because I always am.
So I think there's a poltergeist.
creepypasta. His goal is to be on every dinner plate in suburbia.
In a world with endless possibilities, man and noodle will collide. A struggle to remain at the top of the food chain. Murder.
He's American pasta. He's worse than I expected.
Mayhem.
Why is this happening?
Meatballs. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Fettuccine Alfredo.
British culture is weird. I don't know if you guys know that. And I actually saw this. This is this is Italian. Just found out there was a medieval Italian guy named Bartolomeo Colleoni, which means Bartholomew Balls. And his coat of arms was 3 pair of balls, and his war cry was Colonia, 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 which means balls, balls, balls. So, there's always cool guys throughout history that did cool things. That's all I'm saying.
I saw that, and on the comments underneath it, someone who was from that area said that he was the lord of her province, and that rumor behind the fable was that his family were known for having 3 testicles, and that's why his name was that.
Probably why he yelled balls, balls, balls 3 times. Right? Balls, ball, a ball. Okay, they're all here.
Yeah,
Why
all
did they
3.
put a third testicle on the.
I know they should have put a 3rd one on there.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, they did 3 sets of testicles.
This is This is like the male version of Total Recall.
Oh God.
It just seems like it's so funny to me because if you just turn
I'm
upside down,
hella
it's a heart.
impressed you know that reference.
Anyway, I thought that was funny. I'm like, there's so much going on this week. We have State of the Union happened. Did you guys watch any of that?
No.
This is the only thing I took from this photo. It was insane. But the State of the Union happened this week. It was just a lot of stuff. It was just a lot of stuff.
I have to imagine Biden was on uppers.
Yeah, he had to.
Yeah.
They started to fade towards the end. He came out and he had all this energy when he's talking about. A lot of people are like, "We're doing the State of the Union," and the first thing he talked about was Ukraine, and it's like that's nothing to do with the state of our union. Okay, whatever. We are paying for it, but
most of the topics for the State of the Union have nothing to do with us actually in the United States, because it's Ukraine, it's Palestine, Gaza, or its border.
Yeah.
And
well, the border has a little bit to do with us, but that's what he loses on. He's losing on the border.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot, man. There's a lot going on. That Lake and Riley stuff happened with the girl.
Didn't Biden get in a lot of trouble with her family because he brought her up? The girl that was killed by the migrant. Yeah. Yeah, he got in a lot of trouble because he brought that up, right?
Well, there was from what I understand was he had went on stage before then. He had seen. Everybody says her initials. It's the Mallory Taylor Greene or MTG. That's I don't really know her too much.
Really controversial congresswoman.
Yeah, and she's wearing the MAGA gear, and she hands him a button with Lake and Riley, and it's like says say her name or whatever. And he gets up there, and when he's talking about the border crisis, she's like yelling out say her name, and then he goes to say Lake and Riley, and he calls her Lincoln Riley, and that upset the family. Like, you don't even know the name of the girl that you guys are talking about. And then he also said was killed by an illegal, and that pissed off his party because they don't like that term, illegal alien, and they like the term migrant or immigrant or
refugee.
Yeah.
I don't really think any of this shit's relevant, to be honest.
No,
I'm completely oblivious to anything that's happening in the government.
Yeah,
and Biden's got to get real close to the microphone. He's got to whisper. And then he gets real loud and angry old man shouting.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. He's like, you guys don't understand what's going on. It just became a Harry Carey. It's like Harry Carey or live Boston. I know it's Cubs.
I just love how we have to choose between 2 80-year-old men. I can't stand this shit, bro.
Now, the border stuff is serious to me. And
it is.
Because, to be honest, there's so much going on, and I don't think it's sustainable. And at the end of the day, people are going to harp on it. So they need to come up with a plan. And I know they called it like one of the best reforms, and they wouldn't pass it. And then, but because there was one 4 years ago they tried to pass and nobody would pass it. And I'm like, nothing ever gets done with these people. They just literally take our money and then they're like, we'll just give it to another country.
This is what I mean by like it doesn't. It's not real. It doesn't mean anything. Nobody really cares about border control or anything. It's just a talking point right now.
Absolutely.
And like there are states that are highly affected by like people coming across the border or whatever, but there are also places that are more so affected right now by the amount of National Guards people or press coverage or photo op potential people that are coming through and like messing up people's shit. So like it's all a mess. Nobody's actually fixing anything. And I don't really think anybody it will be, and that's the shit that matters.
And one of the crazy things I heard about with the border was, so you know how like New York and Chicago and some of these more Democrat-run cities try to call themselves sanctuary cities for these migrants coming into the country. Well, and then you saw like DeSantis and Abbott and some of the other southern governors were shipping all these migrants to those cities. One thing I thought was really crazy because of the large influx of the migrants in New York was this was during a really cold spell like a month or two ago, and the kids in a school couldn't even go to school. They had to be virtual because they were housing a lot of migrants in the school.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of this is coming from. So, you know, it's been an issue obviously at the southern border. I mean, that's obviously where you're if you're a state at the southern border, you're gonna get hit harder because these people are coming through there. And there's a lot of people coming through, and we're talking not just Central American, not just Latin American, not just Mexican. We're talking about there's Asians, there's people
Middle
that are
East,
actually from
North
Africa, North Africa, and there's people from the Middle East. So it's almost like it's become a commodity for these Central American governments to commoditize it. And they're like, oh, we can make money off of this refugee crisis where these people are walking to the United States, and our border's wide open right now. And people are dying, and things are, you know, there's a lot of, you know, stuff that happens that's, you know, sexual assault and a lot of crazy shit that happens at the border. But yeah, these governors of these southern states started saying, oh, if you're a sanctuary city, I'll just send them to you. And then it became like a big thing, and then you could see the tide turn. Like they had a juxtapositioned video. I don't have it here, but a juxtaposition video of the mayor. I think Mayor Adams,
Eric Adams in New
York, was like from the beginning being like, yeah, we are the land of opportunity. Send your poor, you're weak, doing the whole thing. And then it, like 6 months later, after all these migrants got there, he's like, we don't have any room. We're running out of room. And then the truth to be told is like you're talking like I think something in the neighborhood of this last year. 7 million people have crossed.
Yeah,
I'm
not a smart man by any sense.
I'm not a smart man,
but like I just feel like it seems asinine to send a bunch of people to very populated cities in the first place. Like if you're gonna send people somewhere, if you're gonna give somebody sanctuary or something like that, there's a whole middle of the United States that's pretty like fucking wide open. It's not overly populated. If, like I said, if we were really gonna do some things and really cared about people, whether they are from this country, not from this country, we would actually be doing these things. So we would be bringing.
But it's fun watching. It's fun watching these cities.
I'd rather watch wrestling.
No, I'm saying it's fun watching these cities that are like they like kind of it's kind of snooty where they're like, we're sanctuary cities, we care about people, and then once they start to get the actual problem gets at their doorstep, it's like, oh well, we didn't realize. And it's like that's my argument is like if these people at the southern border are dealing with it every day and they're saying this is bad, and then these people who live almost entirely as far away as they can are like, no, we're a sanctuary, we'll let anybody. And then once the problem comes to their doorsteps and they don't want to deal with it anymore, it kind of shows you that, you know, maybe you should have listened to these guys down here that were dealing with it. And that's the weirdest thing. I mean, it could be worse. We could be in Haiti right now where there's cannibal gangs are eating people they've killed on the streets as violence erupts. This is insane. I don't know if you guys have they liberated 2 prisons and let out over 4,000 prisoners who are now running the streets, and it's absolute chaos right there. So it could be worse. You know,
it this story kind of reminds me of the story of General Butt Naked. In the Liberian Civil War.
He's got a crazy name, but that's he was a genocidal and crazy, but he killed people.
Well, and what's crazy is he actually became an evangelist.
Yeah, eventually.
And I saw this one video.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And this guy is same
was
thing.
A power
this
bottom.
guy, same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw this guy. He's a priest. You see his ankle? What'd he do? I thought that was funny. I'm like, that makes me laugh so hard just to imagine a guy like on he's like running drugs or something.
I do want to know what he did. Like I'm hella interested.
I think he just had too much communion wine before he went to drive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope it's not what I think it is.
Oh God. Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is not the greatest idea.
Yeah.
I do have some good news for you guys. This is a personal achievement of mine. I did recently become a top fan of the Howard County Busted page. Thank you. I'm very proud of myself. I didn't know that I was going to be a top fan, but I think it's because I post jokes like this, goofing off, which, shout out to this guy. He's just doing court commitments. Everybody needs to leave him alone. But I was like, I don't know. And I think the best part, and Jordan knows where I'm going with this, the best part is I sent this to our group chat, and he's like, I don't get it. What does this mean?
I thought he was talking about the dude. Like I was stuck on the dude's name.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is a schism?
And he didn't read the browsing thing.
I go like that?
He just wrote, I'm dumb. And then I saw this as well. They're killing it. They even got merch. There's Busted Howard County. What the hell is this? Are you serious? You can tell it's fake. Like this is real. Like they really did put this out, but the picture is horrible. Look at if you look close, like it's like horrible Photoshop, and you can barely. But I think it's hilarious that they're like, "Damn, we don't even have as much merch as the Busted. We need to step our merch game up." Busted newspapers out
We
here.
really do. Shit.
How's the world of cutting, coloring, dyeing, curling,
Being the best stylist
being
in town.
the world's greatest stylist that's ever existed
That
in the
much.
history of Kokomo or the world
The world.
/ the universe? Kim the Chemist
In the galaxy.
in the
It's tax
galaxy.
time, so it's the busiest time of year right
Oh yeah, you're working.
Yep,
Yeah.
7 days a week.
Do they tip when it's tax time? The answer is no. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I think that, well, okay, so for me, because I've been doing it for so long, tax time isn't any busier for me than what I usually am because I have a lot of client retention.
Yeah.
But it's busier in the salon, so the people who don't have that same retention or the newer stylists, like they're just as busy as what I usually am.
Yeah.
And so like it's very loud. There's a lot of people. There's new people who's never been there before. So you have to like make sure that morale is good, and you have to make sure that everybody's getting along, and you have to make sure that everybody is using appropriate language, and that if there is a child across the room, that like we're not playing, certain music, and like everybody is being, on
So that Yay album's not on
top
there.
No.
game.
Unless it's Jesus is King.
Yeah, that one could be on.
Yeah.
That was palatable.
Maybe Donda because he
Donda,
also.
yeah.
So basically, what I'm getting from this is, listen, man, I'm good. I'm always busy. I always got my clients, but now everybody else in here is busy, and now it's loud. And
It's very loud.
It's a lot to deal with. Yeah, I can get
Jordan
that.
was in there yesterday because Damien came in to get his hair cut by Elliot, one of our barbers.
Yeah.
And like, love Elliot. He does so good with Damien. And it was so busy in there that I had to text Jordan and say, when you get here, just come to the wax room and wait till Elliot's done. Because if not, Damien's going to be way too overstimulated before his haircut.
Yeah.
And then he's not going to want to talk or do anything. He's just gonna want to get out of there.
Get me out.
And you walked in,
It was
and
crazy in there. There was a lot of people. It's
like a madhouse.
It's just.
I feel like my barber should have waited to leave until after this time. Just kidding.
wild. It was
a lot.
wild. And like Jordan just got me an Apple Watch, and it kept telling me like, you need to sit down, because my heart rate was like fluctuating between like 150 and 160, and I am sitting down.
Just anxiety.
Just so
Just pure anxiety.
just so nervous. And then there was like at one point yesterday, I was telling Elliot about Damien's haircut and stuff so he would know. And he was like, why are you shaking? And I was like, it's just so loud in here, and my earplugs are all the way in my car, and I can't get to my car. And
Gosh.
it was, yeah, but that's the world right now of cutting hair, because it is wild. And
Madhouse.
like the only thing that I could say for the client is please be patient with us if we are not, because Facebook went down.
Yeah.
And so my messenger also went down, and you had to log back in.
Oh, yeah.
And it happened on a Tuesday. I'm at work on Wednesday, and I had already been there. I got there at 8 a.m, and this was like 6 o'clock at night. And a client had called the shop and said, can you please tell Kim to like look at her messages? And I like looked down, and I had been logged off for over a day. And when I logged back on, I had 47 missed messages. And I was just like, I don't even know how I'm going to like make
You ain't
up
ever
this
going
time.
off the grid, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit because we did have a Facebook outage. It's unclear how long the outage will last or how widespread it is. We knew how long it lasts. So that's about an hour, right?
Right.
Hour 15.
Something like
This is actually this is what happened to me. I got kicked out and then it did this and then I got in and I was actually in for a while and this is all it looked like. So very interesting situation. I did get, I know a lot of people went to, you can go to Down Detector to see if like an app or like a website is down and it shows a lot of different ones were down. And then I actually got word from Mark Zuckerberg. He said, "My bad, y'all. I was just smoking some meats and clicked the wrong button while I was looking for my barbecue sauce." So I thought that was interesting. To
I
have
think
his
what happened is Meta had hired the same guy that worked at AT&T.
Yeah. Or they pissed off the same guy.
Yeah.
I did. Elon Musk did say, if you're reading this post, it's because our servers are working. He's
Elon
throwing some
is
shade.
such a troll. I live
Oh,
for it.
dude, he just likes to mess around, dude. He don't even care at that point. Yeah, I mean, it was a very rough day, I think, for a lot of us. I have AT&T and I have obviously Facebook is very important to our lives. So like, I got hit with both of those. The AT&T one was way worse, but when Facebook went down, it was funny because I was like, I messaged like Jordan, Courtney, and Brian, and put us all in a group chat and text message, and I was like, what the? Because we were talking about something controversial in the chat, and then all of a sudden our chat was gone, and we're like, oh, what did we do? That we thought we all lost. I mean, did you guys feel like have you been in Facebook jail? I'm a longtime member of Facebook jail. You're a longtime member.
I've been to Facebook jail.
I never have.
I thought we were all getting kicked.
I've been pretty good for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You've been a good boy.
Yeah.
We've all been good boys.
Yeah, I'm trying. I got flagged. I got flagged yesterday though because I was writing a reply to her post or to a post that she made. I put that ass though, and it was like this is a post that like basically you can't post this shit.
Yeah. Stop posting. You're being too sexual. Stop it.
So then I just took a screenshot of when I texted it to her.
Just sent that.
And he sent the picture.
They're not checking that.
No.
I think you guys have a great relationship. Speaking to people who don't. Did you guys see this? Jada Pinkett Smith said she's been paid less because she's married to Will Smith, and I saw somebody in the comments was like, "Can she just find anything that's not his fault?"
I mean, goddamn, what can he do right?
He's done nothing right, dude.
Nothing ever.
I actually saw one that she said, I'm bald because of Will Smith.
I mean, believe it. That's why he got so mad at Chris.
I know. He's like, "Damn, man, why are you doing this to me?" G.I. Jane. Love to see you in the sequel.
And what's crazy is like Will was laughing at it at the start,
right?
And then Jada got mad, and so he had to okay.
Any guy who's been with a girl long enough knows that look where you're like, when you're hanging out with your buddy and he says something, you look over and your girl's pissed. And you're like, all right, we're going to go ahead and head out, guys. We love you.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you later. It's like one of those things where you're like, I've realized I messed up. And then.
Does that happen with me?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty oblivious to most things, though.
Yeah.
Things just go over my head.
Yeah, I think that was your Harry Potter spell. Oblivious.
Obliviate.
Obliviate. That's
Now I'm gone.
Did you? I wanted to see if. Do you think this is real? I read this and it says male sweat brightens women's moods and raises hormone levels. The study published in the Journal of Neuroscience reveals that human sweat emits a scent similar to other animals, which affects the physiology of the opposite sex. Researchers from UC Berkeley found that androstenedione, a compound in male sweat, increases cortisol levels. That makes you more stressful. This compound also influences mood and sexual arousal. So we stress you out just by sweating. That's hilarious because cortisol levels is like it's a stress hormone that's like triggered. So if you get stressed out, it triggers your cortisol.
Yeah.
So I'm just imagining when we start sweating, you guys start.
I don't know. You don't really sweat a lot.
No.
You're not. He's not like he doesn't.
Is that she's saying he doesn't work hard enough?
Probably.
Wow.
No, I just think that he knows. Like he knows how to. What's the word?
Regulate heat. I'm just kidding.
He knows how to not overwork himself while still doing lots of different things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Whenever I see a guy sweating, I just remember like Southside baseball.
Yeah.
From my childhood because like
it's hot out there.
Well, and I had friends who played baseball and they would always be sweating and I didn't play baseball. So like then we would all like go hang out or like go play or whatever afterward. And I'm like, God, this is awful. They all smell like the outside.
Hey,
you're inside and you smell like the outside.
I want to go back inside.
I'll say this. From my experience, if I really want to raise cortisol levels, I just got to send a woman a poem I wrote.
There you go. That'll get you
That's
going.
that's how I raise cortisol
That's
levels.
that Riz.
Yeah.
He is risen.
Yeah.
I've been saying that a lot lately.
Dude, poets have the best riz, I'm telling you.
Do you use the term rhythm with the tism?
No. I just say riz.
I want to get it tattooed on me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's a good
usually
one.
I just send a woman a poem and they're like, I don't know how you do it, Seth.
There you go.
There you go.
Why don't you write me poems?
Because I don't know.
He does write.
We all write. We are all writers in this room.
Well, he can just, like I say, he can get a copy of my book and he can read it to you.
There we
Yeah.
go.
That'll have the
Dude.
same effect.
That's one of the things I want to bring up to you. I had an ex that her ex used to send her poems all the time, right? And then she would have a poem in her room, like on her wall, and then her stepdad would come in and read it, and then just do a Google search and then print off the one that he stole it from. So this guy that was his riz, was just stealing other people's poetry and sending it to girls and being
That's
like,
terrible.
isn't that horrible? Like, you got to write it yourself,
Dude,
right?
I mean, it's one thing for me to just send like a general poem to a woman
Yeah.
to raise the cortisol levels, but if I write one specifically for them,
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Going right on up.
yeah.
That's when the sweat starts to come.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Double whammy.
if you say like, "Hey, here's this poem I read by Robert Frost,"
Yeah,
or "Here's
yeah.
a poem I read by Emily Dickinson," and it reminds me of you. That's different than being like, "Hey, I wrote you a poem," and then it's somebody else's shit.
And stealing someone else's credit.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either. When I heard it, it kind of like, I got the ick. I got the ick for her ex. You know what I mean?
We were talking about like last night, like how artistic expression in the future is going to be hindered because of like AI and stuff.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about that last night when we were on a double date, and because I had posted something on Facebook that said if Salvador Dali painted the Mona Lisa, that's me.
Yeah.
And then Jordan was like, that's not, like, telling me like that's not nice to say about yourself, and I'm like, no, it's like a thing. Like, Google it, AI Salvador Dali the Mona Lisa.
Oh yeah.
And he like got screenshots and sent it to me and said, okay, yeah, it is.
Does it look like you?
Yeah, it's like a gothic version of a Mona Lisa. And all of the AI versions does very much look like me. Even the Van Gogh Mona Lisa one that I sent you, it even kind of looked like me. And I was like, I like that. But I mean, maybe the painting's not boring. It was just painted by the wrong person. But then at the same time, it's like, oh, wow, AI is like creating art in other people's.
This is an AI art thing. It's supposed to be one of those, if you like squint, what do you see? I don't know if you guys can tell who that is. It's a former president. It's Trump.
Is?
It's Trump. If you squint your eyes, you guys squint like Sadie.
Oh, yeah,
See
I
him?
see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
He's
only
there
see
somewhere.
French fries.
And a burger. I mean, you probably see a burger and lettuce and stuff too. But yeah, it's actually, I can show it to you. Maybe you just don't have the
Oh, I see it now that it's out.
Yeah. It's like the closer it is, it's harder to see. You kind of need the perception of it. These people want to see this. I sent it to my mom last night, so I saved it because my mom, she's a huge Trumper.
Yeah.
And, I think it's just their age. They like they found something to live for, Whereas with me, I've got a lot of hobbies. Too many of you to ask. I mean, one of the things I want to talk to you guys about, and you guys can tell me your opinion is, do you guys think that there's a lot of, so lately there's been a lot of crazy stories in comedy. I got a couple I want to share with you. The first one I want to share with you is, did you guys hear about this guy? Matt Rife was exploring legal action after fellatio allegation by comedian. So this comedian on the right, he was claiming that he was in a room with some executives with Matt Rife at the same time, and that they walked in and the executives were like, we're going to give you a special. We're going to help co-sign you. We're going to do your thing. You just have to suck our dicks. Like, that's what you have to do, and then you'll get it. And he said that he left, and he was like not interested, but Matt Rife stayed behind, and that's how he got famous. So Matt Rife was like, I'm like, explore legal action, and it started getting really serious. People were like, I can't believe Matt Rife did that. It started becoming a big thing, and then immediately this guy puts it out and says, it was all satire. I was making it up. And so as a group, as a couple of people, you and I specifically, that do satire, Is it satire to say that he was? Does that seem like satire to you?
No.
Are you gonna sue me for calling you a racist?
Yeah. No.
I do that a lot.
No, but that's a whole different thing. That's nuance.
I
Actually, I am I'm just kidding. That's not, no. I had to go into the joke.
know,
I'm sorry. I was like, I have to lean in now. No, but like, we talked about this when you were doing it. You're like, hey, man, I'm so sorry for calling you racist. And I told you, I'm like, listen, I think if I was racist, I would be bothered. But because I'm not actually racist, it doesn't bother me if you say that. And it's the same with like when somebody like will call me transphobic. It's like, I know how I feel about people. So if you call it to me, I might say something that sounds transphobic on accident. I've done that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I do have opinions on things sometimes that I get informed. But to me, at the end of the day, if it comes down to do I dislike people that are trans, or do I dislike people who are black, or do I dislike people who are Mexican or Asians? Can I do an Asian accent? Yes, I can. Do I like doing it? Yes. Am I going to do it right now? No. Okay. I'm not going to do it. Okay. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't make you I think you're a racist if you're a racist. I think at the end of the day. But in this situation, it's not satire, right? This guy was literally trying to become viral. He became viral. He made a claim that was completely false. That like it's something that people will believe. So I think it creates this weird animosity.
I think he told it as if it was the truth.
Yeah.
Obviously knowing that he means for it to be a joke.
Yeah.
But it'd be better if people thought it was true.
Yeah.
And like there's a whole lot of wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like, because there's no punchline to that.
Well, with our page, we talk about red herrings all the time.
Right.
When we write a post that we know is fake, which is most of them, we will typically put in jokes that are like, if you are of sane mind and body, you will read it and say, there ain't no fucking way.
Yeah.
There ain't no. And in this situation, it is outlandish to imagine that he's in the room with a comedian in this. But in the aftermath of Me Too with Weinstein, the stuff that's going on with Diddy, that Epstein stuff, like all these executives that we find out that whole casting couch, like culture. Like if you say something like that, people might take it at face value. And in this situation, I think it's kind of a little weird.
And the thing is that with the whole thing is like, I think as comedians, you really do have to watch, like, because things are so much more touchy now, and there has to be a much better perspective on what I'm saying. Like, you want to be humorous and all that, and sometimes you have to take it far, but you have to know how far can I take it. And if people take it for face value, how harmful would that be?
I think if you're doing something, and I think you can probably attest to this as well. We've been doing the Kokomo Press open mic. If you guys haven't came out, check that out. It's every Thursday at 8 p.m. The bar opens at 7. Come early because the comedians start signing at 7:30. The show starts at 8, and we've been packed. I mean, you were there, Kim. You've seen it. We've been packed. Like people have been coming in and being like, I don't have anywhere to have to go. So if you want to be involved, come out and do that. One of the things we've noticed, or at least I've noticed, and maybe you can attest to as well, Belle. Belle. I just want to say that. I thought it sounded cool. Jones. But when I've seen, you can see when somebody comes up with a take that they know is a hot take, and you can tell if they've actually put the work into making it funny, or if they just have a setup and they haven't found up the joke yet. Because we've had a couple. I don't want to call out anybody specifically, but we've had so far we've done 4 weeks. We've had 2 nights with 15 comedians, and then 2 nights with 10 comedians, 10. So we've had a grand total of 50 comedians and all. Yeah. So that's 50 comedians. Some of them are duplicates, but that's a lot of comedians coming through in only 4 weeks, and that's been great. But we've also seen some people go up there and do a joke when you're like, I can tell what you maybe were trying to do. You had an idea, but you haven't fully fleshed it out yet. And that's what an open mic is for. Yeah. But you can look a certain type of way at the end of it where we're like, I don't think I would have made that joke. Because that's a little wild.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those. I mean, we've also had people say some things that I'm like, I wouldn't say that.
Cringe laughing in the side.
Yeah. But like you said, also it's an open mic, so it's just kind of like a test ground for shit, and like hopefully nobody's coming up there and being like, oh well, that person said this. They gotta be because Comedy's hard. It's not easy.
No, and if you do it, you know that. A lot of people that don't do it, which is like one of the things that when you brought that up, and you're like, you got to be careful with what you say in comedy. I think you're absolutely right. If you're at the top, I think, because we all know. I have heard worse things said at the 4 weeks of our open mic, worse jokes said at the 4 weeks of our open mic, trying to be funny, than I've heard from any major comedian that's been canceled or gotten in trouble.
Right.
Like, would you agree with that a little bit?
Yeah.
There's been some premises that people have said where you're like, I don't know, and but we're in an open mic, and we know if somebody walks on that stage and they have the balls to stand in front of that mic, that their attempt is to be funny. Right. They're attempting to be funny. If they don't stick the landing, they don't. If they wrote a joke that seems like, that kind of feels a little racist, in your head, you're like, they meant to find funny in this.
Right.
Hopefully, in these situations where they do something that's a little weird, they find out that it's not funny, and then they're like, maybe I should walk away from it.
Yeah, or they come back and they redo their setup. They come
reconfigure.
They reapproach it. Yeah. I've had to reapproach my set and how I've done my set with in this month that we've done these things, and I'm still gonna keep tweaking things. And like, how was that for you, Kim? Watching him, because I mean, he's been doing Kokomo Press with us for many years, and he's always been a funny guy. He's funny conversationally. A lot of people are funny conversationally, but going on stage and formulating a setup punchline, it's a different feeling. And so for you, you probably saw him like the first couple times he did it, or you've seen it at home, and then you got to come out and watch him. How do you feel about like the evolution of where he's gotten from the just doing it for a couple months ago?
I think that he always second guesses what he's saying and how he's going to say things, because he doesn't want to, like, he makes a lot of jokes about like our family and his family in general, or like his life growing up. And I think he always second guesses, like, okay, so if I say this, what are the repercussions for this? Just like he doesn't post a lot of things on Facebook or say a lot of jokes that like pertain to me, be like, or my work, because he doesn't want it to ever affect my business. Yeah. But when he doesn't care, or he's had like a bad day and he just goes up there and says whatever he wants, I think that's when he does it the best. Yeah. And when he just wings it and goes up there and talks about just whatever, he's not stumbling across words, and he's not trying to be cautious. He's just being who he wants to be. That's when it's the best. And it sucks to live in a culture that is so easy to cancel who you are and what you want to say and what you want to do, just because they don't want to get their feelings hurt. But like sometimes the best way to like grow sometimes is to get your feelings hurt.
Absolutely.
Like and now I'm not saying that like anybody should like blatantly be racist, but like, or homophobic or transphobic, because like I'm not that person. Yeah. But like at the end of the day, I can only attest for myself, not for someone else. And like I may not find that funny, but I would never try to stop somebody from saying what they want to say, because freedom of speech is a real thing.
Yeah, and a comedy show, you're when somebody goes on stage, we know for a fact that their attempt is to be
They're
funny.
not coming up there to like stand on a soapbox and like preach real life politics to somebody. They're going up there trying to be funny. Like they're not going up there with intentions of hurting people's feelings. They're going up there to try to tell a story, and like however it gets delivered, that's how it gets delivered. Right. And like with the Matt Rife thing, I mean, like, okay, like if he did blow somebody, okay, like who has not one time given somebody a blowjob with an incentive in the back of their brain of like, I wonder what this could get me. Yeah. Who hasn't done that?
Who hasn't?
Who hasn't? And I mean, like,
I know we all in this room have. Every single one of us.
Yes, and be a slut.
This guy specifically did. I know. I'm just kidding. How did you get in Marijuambies? Oh, this guy over here for sure. Oh, he's trying to get out. He's trying to get out of the.
I can't hide from this.
I love that pimp daddy cane you got going on over there. What's that about? Tell me a little bit.
I just bought it for style.
Well, I saw you came in with the fedora.
Yeah.
You got the buttons. You kind of got a little like you have like a poetry swag going on. Is that what it
That's
is?
not a fedora.
Is that what Indiana Jones?
Yes, it's Indiana Jones hat.
Dun, 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 dun,
That's
dun.
a
Raiders of the
different
Lost
kind.
Ark is my favorite movie of
That's
all
a good
time.
one. My grandpa was he was
Mine's
Sherlock
Hamilton.
Holmes. Do you like comedy? Have you ever done it? Have you ever thought about going up on stage and telling some of those jokes that your family and friends just love to hear? Well, now you have the opportunity. Every Thursday night, starting February 15th at Cooper's Pubs, we are doing an open mic. The Kokomo Press is doing an open mic at Cooper's Pub in the downstairs comedy den. It's going to be awesome. It's going to start at 8 p.m. on Thursdays, February 15th. And we're going to be doing open mic with 10 to 15 spots for each comedian at 5 minutes a spot. Do not hesitate to sign up. Sign-ups will be at 7:30 physically down there in the bar. Or if you want to, you can sign up early. All you have to do is message our page at the Kokomo Press. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have drinks and we're going to have food specials. And it's all a part of Cooper's Pub. You just go straight in, and instead of making a right, you make a left, you go downstairs, you make a left, and you're right down there in the comedy den. Myself and Brian Allen West are excited to see you, and we'll also have friends that you may know, like Jordan Bell, a.k.a. Hypocrisy Jones, Sean Dalrymple, a local comedian we love, and even Courtney Richardson. You're going to see us all out there. We're going to be having a blast. And again, it starts February 15th, but after that, it's every Thursday at 8 p.m. in the comedy den downstairs at Cooper's Pub. Hope to see you there. Hamilton? That's not a movie, it's a play.
Well, I watch it, so
Which is the
it's
best.
moving.
Well,
Son of
I
whore
actually-
and a Scotsman dropped in the middle of the spot in the Caribbean.
I actually
pretty
read
good,
Ron
my
Cherno's
favorite.
Alexander Hamilton biography.
Is that the
which-
what's based off?
That's
right?
what
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda read, which led him to make.
It's actually
the
Lin-Manuel
musical.
Miranda writes, but go ahead. Oh, yeah, it took him a second. Got him.
Got him.
That is a good one.
Yeah. How was that book, though? Did you like
it?
it?
Was great.
Yeah.
I really liked it, and I think the one thing I learned, because I actually watched Hamilton on Disney Plus
Yeah. Same.
before I read the book, and the musical, the Hamilton musical, it's made out like Hamilton's mom was a prostitute, but if you actually read the book, it's like it's doubtful, because in actuality, the whole history lesson with Seth, by the way, Hamilton's mom had been married to this guy named Levine,
Yeah.
and he was very abusive. She walked away from him and met Hamilton's father, and she really she was just separated from Levine.
Yeah.
But it was, in technicality, it was an affair, but they were already kind of separated and distant at that point anyway.
From Kokomo?
Probably. I know.
The one that the Beach Boys talk about, I think. 'cause
Yeah.
It's the Caribbean. Remember?
Yeah.
Ah, they sound like they're from here.
Yeah.
Transplants.
So, Levine, because of this affair, made up the rumor that Hamilton.
that we all do. Man, she's a hoe anyway, man.
Yeah.
She's
But
that girl was a hoe
Yeah,
anyway.
but-
She was fucking everybody.
In actuality, she wasn't really a prostitute, but
Yeah.
and the musical, they have to simplify that, of course, because it's not
The
as
musical, yeah.
it's not as easy to make a hip hop beat to the actual whole history.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Sound of Music, they had to simplify that whole Poland plot where they're like, we just let him come through and, come on through and just take it. Just take all of Poland.
Yeah.
No, that's the joke. You know
Yeah.
what I'm about?
No.
There's a sad little bird in the middle. No, do you like musicals? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gay too? I'm gay too.
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
musicals back in the day.
a little bit.
Remember when you were gay? Remember you were gay for your mom? I'm just kidding. That's the Shane.
Never had one.
Shane Gillis. Oh, damn. Ba-wah-dum-ba-dum.
Never kills.
I need that. I don't think I have that one. There it is.
I love it.
No, Hamilton's great. I think it's great. Who's your favorite character? And if it's not Aaron Burr, then you can leave. I'm just kidding.
Well, I do like Aaron Burr.
The guy that played Aaron Burr was absolutely fantastic, and
I like the guy who played Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, me too.
That's like that's my favorite.
You like the guy that played Thomas Jefferson, or the guy that played the French?
Lafayette.
Well, they were the same person, weren't they?
What? I'm just kidding.
I mean, in the play, but like I'm just saying, like I like Thomas Jefferson because I like when he like comes back. I like his song.
Thomas Jefferson's coming.
I like it.
How often have you listened to it?
I like-
Because she listens to it.
I've listened to the soundtrack quite a few times because like we listened.
Did
to
you
the
watch the
songs.
play?
I think my favorite song is the
No.
one about this. I haven't watched it.
What's your favorite song?
Is the one of the sisters? Where
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
doing the Skyless
It's
Sister.
something around you.
Work.
Yeah,
And then
Yeah.
yeah.
we were looking up music for our wedding, and my friend Sam said that they had some of the Hamilton songs in punk rock like forums, and
So
now
take
I'm
this really
listening
cool
to that.
hip hop thing with you and your black
It's
husband and
so
he's
good.
got his black family. You're like, let's just make it wider.
Yeah.
Let's just make it wider.
Well, no, we both have an eclectic
Yeah, he does.
amount
He does.
of music in all the songs that are going to be played like
Yeah.
before and during.
Yeah.
But they won't let me like we all like met up with Scrap, and I was like saying what I wanted to walk
DJ
down the
Scrap,
aisle
shout out.
to.
DJ Scrap. Love
Yeah, I
it.
love Scrap.
Yeah.
We were talking about what I wanted to walk down the aisle to,
Yeah.
and he told me it wasn't a good look for the wedding, and like maybe I should pick something different. And
What would you want? You can't bury the lead here.
Let me guess. You're
Does
gonna
it ruin anything?
it's
Is it a punk rock song?
I Fucking Hate You by Tyler the Creator.
Yeah, that might be.
I thought you were going to choose Bound too.
No.
I thought you were gonna say "She Fucking Hates Me" by Puddle of Mud.
No.
She fucking hate me.
No, I didn't listen to
No.
that.
You didn't listen to Dad Rock at all? Like a little bit of that, like you didn't listen to that post-hardcore, like not post-hardcore, but
Post grunge.
yeah, like all that stuff. It was
No.
good. I mean, that shit is like a guilty pleasure. You go and watch the video, and it's horrible. It's like the worst stuff. It's like fun.
My
like
little
comedy.
my
Lots
little
of broken
sister
picture
did,
frames.
but like no, I was really big into like I loved Tool.
Oh
And,
yeah.
Like I really loved Tool. I really like
Yeah.
I
Which
love,
one? Like a wrench or I'm just kidding.
Hammer.
Hammer?
Yeah, I'm more of a Hammer person.
Like a hammer and a sickle, maybe.
Yeah. But
Communist.
I
Where?
Look at his face.
Where?
Where
Where
they
are
go?
they?
Where'd they
Where
go?
are they?
I don't know. I didn't like the like dad rock stuff. I didn't have a dad, so maybe that's why.
Okay, no mom, no dad. And so you guys are just filling in for each other.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
This became a therapy section. I'm asking you guys about your parents.
well, she completes my mommy issues.
Good.
I complete her daddy issues.
Good.
Yeah.
So,
It's balanced.
yeah, okay. That's
I
fine.
just need someone who can complete both of my mommy and daddy issues.
Speaking of people that have mommy and daddy issues, did you guys see this? Tish Cyrus surfaces amid reports she stole husband from daughter Noah. Noah Cyrus actually dated Dominic Purnell from, I don't know if you guys seen the series Prison Break. He was in that. He was in The Flash. But yeah, she actually married this guy, and after he had already slept with her daughter.
Damn.
He looks a little old to be sleeping with the daughter.
I mean, if she's of age and he's of age.
Well, no, I'm just saying like
Yeah.
that like the mom and him makes more sense.
Oh, absolutely. But once your daughter
Where's
sleeps
her
with somebody,
eyebrows?
which one? Noah? I think she's doing that whole like I don't need them.
Oh, good
She
for her.
watches Dune 2 once. Am I right?
Oh,
Just kidding.
shit.
Have you guys seen Dune yet? No. The new one? Oh, I feel so left out because nobody's seen that movie, and it might be one of the best movies of all time.
Should I watch it?
Yes. Did you see the first one?
No.
It's on like Max.
Yeah,
Watch
it's
it on
on
Max.
Max.
If you like that one and you're like, this could be better, the 2 is amazing. It's all
Okay.
politics and like it's really cool. It's got Zendaya and fucking Timothée Chalamet. It's got Josh Brolin. It's got
I know,
the
all
dude
these-
Austin
Oscar-
Butler. It's got
Oscar
Oscar Isaac.
Isaac.
It's got. I mean, you can literally go down the list. It's got everybody. What's the dude? Aquaman. He's in it. Fucking,
Jason Momoa.
Yeah. He's got.
Okay.
This
How
is
do you
Tism.
not-
I can just throw like a character out. And he's
How
like,
can
this
you
Tism's
not
got me.
know who Jason Momoa is?
I know him. I just can't. Sometimes I don't remember names when I'm thinking. I typically if somebody asks me a name, I'll remember their name. But if I'm trying to think of it, it doesn't pop up.
Yeah.
Every time I think of Jason Momoa, I think Roman Reigns, and for no reason.
They do look alike. Though.
They do.
You're right.
They do.
Yeah. Are they both related to The Rock? Yes, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. But when you look at Jason Momoa, you should think of Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz. I just think of that.
Why?
Oh, the Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, he knows what they're talking about. Lenny Kravitz. He knew it. I love that he got that before you.
I love the one part in that clip that I love was at the end where they make the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah,
Asian.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
Oh my God.
Wu-Tang.
He's 19, but he's like a millennial soul. I like it so
Can
far.
we keep him?
Yeah, he can stay. He can come back. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, and he can tell you, he can test this. I was a little worried. I was like having a poet guy on here. I'm like, maybe he's not. Maybe he takes himself too seriously. And the one thing I like about you, Seth, and I think a lot of people out there that are watching are gonna like about you is that you're actually fun. You know what I mean? I think it's important that like a lot of people, when they're well-rounded, that we show that, and that's why it's awesome that you did this podcast with us, because this is one way people can get to know you and realize that if they come out and they hear your poetry, there's some heartbreak behind it. Yeah, there's some sorrow. There's some stuff.
Teen angst.
But you're also a fun guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're also part mushroom. Fun guy. Sorry, I had to say
Well,
that.
I may have done some before I got here.
Yeah, there. He's like, I'm on psilocybin right now.
You sharing?
Speaking of people who were on drugs, did you guys hear about this? Comedian Nick Swardson was removed from stage at a comedy show. Nick Swardson's one of my favorites. You guys know Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he ended up putting out a statement. The Disney Gazette urged surges for Swardson's Denver comedy show. So he got more play out of it, and he put this out and said, it's been a minute. Been a minute to address this. So fucking dumb that this is news with all that's going on in the world. Love my fans. I'm sorry. Edibles, alcohol, and altitude will happen. Also, I'm not the first person to try that combo in Colorado. Good Lord. Shows have been great after all and will be. Love you. Comedians are humans like everybody else. So he took an edible and he was in Colorado and he went on stage and I guess he had been drinking and he was like, here, I'm going to do it. He was trying to be like you. He was like, here's an impression. And he couldn't. He just kept going, all right, here we go. Okay. All right. Here. And it just over. Okay, here we go.
It got stuck.
And he was literally like the edible just kept resetting his memory like a goldfish.
Yeah, that should be.
He must have been doing the Joey Diaz stars.
Oh yeah. He's like, what up, dog? Hey, dog, eat one of these Death Stars. It'll definitely hit you.
I open up with 3 of these, 200 milligrams.
Yeah, right. He's got the Joey. It's Joey dog. Hey, you gay. Bye. That's what he would say, something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's funny to me that people are surprised that you went to a comedy show in Colorado and the headliner was like, "Who's Nick Swardson?
Right.
Who's known for marijuana from Grandma's Boy?" It's one of
Right.
my best. That might be. I mean, we talked about it a little bit on the show when we had the Marijuambies cast. We had
Right.
a couple of people here, but like, it's one of the best weed movies of all time. Grandma's Boy. It has to be, right? Like, it's just one of those ones that you can watch and it's like. It hits every time.
I think it's definitely up there. Yeah.
Got the robot guy.
When he does like the Dance Revolution thing, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Shit's weak."
Shit's weak.
I use that. I swear
Shit's
to God,
weak.
at least once a week.
Bro,
Still,
same. I've used that one all the
Shit's weak.
Shit's week. Or like, oh, is that high score? What's that mean? Did I break it? Like that one. Me and my brother used to say that to each other all the time because we watched that movie over and over. And I mean, it's got Velma from the original Scooby. Like, what's her name? What's her name? Yeah, I'm just kidding. Jenna. What's up? It might not be Jenna.
I'm not the
She was also she was Scooby Doo's Velma. She was in Freaks and Geeks. But she's great.
I loved her in Freaks.
Ice burgers failed me.
That's burgers. Speaking of other burgers that could fail you, did you guys see this? This is an insane story. So, true crime. Women threatens to sue school cafeteria over barnacle burger. So, this is a burger a picture of a burger that her kids sent to her. And I'm looking at this thing like, what the heck, dude? Doesn't it look? It looks gnarly. But any of us have ever bought those Bubba. You ever bought those Bubbas? That's what this is. That's what it looks like.
It's boiled meat.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So
it's like they probably cooked it and then put it in one of those things that gets hot, boiled, and it ends up looking like that. But that, I mean, if I was a kid and I pulled up and I saw that, I'd be like, man, where's the ketchup? I'm just kidding.
Ooh. I mean, I
like
know
that
for a
it's
fact
called a
we ate
barnacle
that shit.
burger.
So
you'll eat it.
I done it
I'm
when I
going
was in
down.
high school. I was vegetarian, so I didn't eat meat.
Oh yeah, you're a vegan or vegetarian?
Vegetarian. I couldn't be vegan. I love cheese.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of cheese, did you guys see this? Somebody cut the cheese. Bought cheese from the restore and cut into it and exploded. There was a small piece of rope within the cheese, burnt and broke the knife. Any idea what happened? It's actually not what happened. They ended up finding out that the girl who cut the cheese, she was just stinky. I'm just kidding. No, the girl that cut the cheese, she didn't realize that the coffee maker wire was underneath it, and she cut it clean off.
Oh my god!
Took them a couple hours to figure out what it was. They're like, and they were like, why is there a random socket in the wall that's not attached to anything? Yeah.
Oh, she's lucky she didn't.
Oh yeah, and it's an all metal knife. Look at it. It's not even like a rubber
handle and everything.
Bruh, it's like
That's crazy.
It says not related directly to Washington or Perth, but it's in the r/Perth, and Perth is what, Australia, right?
Yes.
You down under, mate.
I thank you, wrestling.
Thank you. You know that from wrestling.
That's the only reason I know that.
Did you get up and watch that? Is that the?
Fuck no, I did not.
Okay, I saw Messi talking about how he got up and watched it. They did like a live from Australia.
It was a 5 a.m. Wrestling paper.
Could you imagine?
I did not.
All right, we're going to wrap up soon. I got a couple things I want to do. I know Seth's got to get out of here. He's got an important date with a homie, I think he said, with a homie.
Yeah, it's a homie.
It's a homie.
That's what's up.
He was hanging out with his homies, his middle-aged mutant ninja turtles. I'm just kidding. I saw that picture and it made me laugh. But there was a couple more things I wanted to hit.
That movie would go hard.
It would. It honestly would. I'd watch that in a heartbeat. Did you guys hear the robots are actually already starting to take over?
Yes.
Robots with Riz. This is actually Saudi Arabia's first male robot touches female reporter's butt. So even a robot's got Riz now. More Riz than you. Hey! Get a little butt action going. I thought that was pretty interesting. You know what I mean? Even the robots are like, damn, that ass.
I mean,
You know?
I guess Hal 9000's cortisol levels were through the charts.
oh shit. I don't blame him. You can call me Billy Gunn because I'm an ass man.
Oh, you didn't know? Yo ass better call somebody. Hey. Shit, dude. I think it's pretty cool. That was the best. When they would come out.
I know.
Road Dogg, Jesse James, and the badass. And then he became just the ass. Yeah. He went from badass to, I'll just be ass. He didn't stay with bad.
Well, he's Mr. Ass.
Mr. Ass. And then he'd just come out and he'd have the lips on his butt, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
He was such there were so many characters back then.
I love Billy
I
Gunn.
miss it.
I love Billy Gunn now.
Yeah. Billy
Scissor me, babe.
No.
Come on.
No.
Scissor him now. You have to scissor him. Who's the greatest rapper of all time? We all know.
Dylon.
Did you guys see this? Dylon actually blames the Chappelle Show skit for ruining his career before it could even start. Anytime I send my music to DJs, they say, "Oh, that's that guy that Dave Chappelle made fun of." No, I'm good on that. So
just change your name.
Yeah, or you know, he just did like a trumped up version of what you were actually doing on Making the Band. If he really wanted to make it, he should have just went to one of those Diddy parties and eventually he would have made it.
Do y'all any I know you don't, but do any of y'all remember Dylon from Making the Band?
Yeah.
And like he was not very good.
No,
he was not very good at all.
And then he choked out Wyclef. Remember
that?
That was the craziest thing ever. That's why he did "You're too close, man," and then he tried to choke him out because like that was the joke from that, because like he's like Dylon's biggest, my biggest fan, or the place I'm the biggest fan of ever is Wyclef. He's like the reason why I do rap. Right. And then it turns out he ended up choking him in the fucking studio.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Could you imagine meeting your hero and choking him?
I miss that dude from New Orleans from that show. I forget his name though.
Yeah. I don't remember either. It's from you talking about everybody?
I don't know. He looked like a really, really off-brand Lil Wayne, but it was nice.
That whole entire Making the Band season was like wackadoo. It was so absolutely atrocious. The amount of craziness. It was just. Remember that was also the bit where he's like, go get some cheesecake. Yeah. I need some Cambodian breast milk. Yeah, that was that was the Chappelle version.
The cheesecake thing kills me because it was so fun, because it's real.
Yeah,
like Diddy really he made folks walk down what like probably like 20 blocks, New York blocks, to go get some fucking cheesecake, and then he made them all be power bottoms after. It was crazy.
Oh man. It's like, if you ain't ready to throw that thing back, poor Seth. He's so young. He's so young. Let's hear the word.
I'm so sorry.
Did you guys hear the most racist news of the week? This is racist news of the week. The Lululemon founder named the company because it was funny. Lululemon. I always say it wrong. Lululemon founder. That's what he wants. Founder named the company because it was funny to watch Japanese people say it. This is a fact. It said Lululemon's original founder Chip Wilson named the company because, according to him, it was funny watching Japanese people try to say it. In 2005, Wilson told Canada's National Post Business magazine, he told a magazine this, that the inability of Japanese people to pronounce L's served as another marketing tool for the company in the country. Wilson was quoted as saying, the reason the Japanese liked my former skateboard brand Homeless was because it had an L in it, and the Japanese marketing firm wouldn't come up with a brand name with an L in it. L is not in their vocabulary. It's a tough pronunciation for them. So I thought next time I have a company, I'll make a name with 3 L's and see if I can get it 3 times as much money. It's kind of exotic for them. I was playing with the L's and I came up with Lululemon. It's funny to watch them try to say it.
Well,
so how do you think they say it? What's the best way to say it?
Lululemon.
Yeah.
Lululemon.
Lululemon. How do you say it, Kim?
I don't know. I don't wear Lululemon.
You don't?
I don't know.
No?
No.
You're more of like a Lulu orange type of girl? Or?
No, I'm not. Like they.
Not your type of
That's
picture?
like
I like the lime.
It's like leggings, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's like women's clothes and shit. Yeah.
They make jackets and
I don't wear a lot of
purses and
women's
shit.
clothes. So.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's a jacket. That's not from my.
It's a jacket.
It's actually a jacket.
Yeah.
Ryan.
I don't know. I just stick to Fenty if I'm gonna be getting any leggings.
Fenty. Oh, okay. Okay.
Shout out
Rihanna in the house. Oh my God. Okay, a couple more here, and then we'll call it. This one's another one where it's like, is this a faux pas or is this okay? Tell me what you guys think, because at first I was kind of confused.
Graveyard at night. Cleaning this abandoned grave for free. I have so many questions in my head. What happened? How did this grave get so dirty? Who's buried here?
TikTok
Her name's
is
Bienvenida. Wow. Her name means welcome in Espanol. Wait a minute. Her grave should be welcoming too. But right now, this is the dirtiest grave I've ever seen. That's so unfair. Everyone deserves a beautiful resting place. Bienvenida died on July 23rd, 1980. Her star sign is Aries. My best friend is an Aries. I wonder what Bienvenida's life is like. Does she like chocolate cupcakes? What killed her? This transformation is a lot of work. I might be here all night, but it's so fun. Ooh, a little bug. Thank you to everyone who supports
Look
and
at
follows.
it. So my question is this disrespectful or is this respect? Because like she's cleaning off, she's doing a public service for people who are probably like that was horrible. But it's like the manner in which she's doing it and the cheerfulness of her videos and the questions and the way she's acting feels like so disrespectful.
Yeah, I don't know if she should be cleaning off somebody's grave in her underwear in the first place while eating cupcakes. And
I would say
just don't do shit for the grave.
And like I'm a Christian and I think she's an absolute Pharisee.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, she's doing a wonderful thing, cleaning someone's grave, because that doesn't happen a lot. But she has to do it in this really showmanship way, like, oh goodness gracious, oh yeah.
And she has a script, like she wrote a bit where she's like, I have a friend that's in Aries, and then she does a callback to herself sitting there and being like, I have a friend. Or, you know what I mean? She does that whole thing like, oh, I found out that they're in Aries. My best friend is in Aries. And it's just like
the whole time she thought this person's name was Welcome.
Yeah, it's like she's exploiting this poor person for views.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, is it exploitative if they're dead and people aren't taking care of the grave? And she actually turned that grave into like a bright, beautiful looking monument to this person's life. So like, that's why I'm like, it really is kind of like you're on, like she's teetering between like, what is it? They have that weird thing where they're like chaotic good, chaotic neutral, or
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. And like, what is she? She would be like chaotic, like good, right? Chaotic good, because it's like she's doing a good thing, but in the most chaotic, worst way.
There was so much emphasis on comedy in that video.
That's what I'm saying.
And like,
or presentation.
Yeah, so like it's.
If it was done respectfully.
Yeah, I think but I'm saying the tone. It's the tonality of it versus what she's doing. And it's like one of those things where you're like, what the hell? All right, I got 2 more real quick. The first one is, are you going to check out this movie on Tubi, The Rapper Who Got Shot in the Heel? Musical artist Raven the Stallion and Corey Gaines have a secret love affair behind the back. I knew you were going to get that one. Somebody created a direct to Tubi movie, basically parodying the entire Tory Lanez and Meg the Stallion.
Yo, can we get Scrap?
We need to get Scrap and you to watch that. And
let's just do that.
I would love that. It would make it. The other thing is, this is actually good news for me, and I found this out recently. So if you guys saw the Tenacious D did a cover of Britney Spears' "Hit Me Baby One More Time," they even did a video for it for the Kung Fu Panda premiere. Well, somebody posted and said, "When I tell you that men have no idea what kind of women are attracted to, because the amount of women I've met on here who would risk it all for Jack Black, raise his hands." So I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, I kind of have a Jack Black vibe. They're risking it all. I literally commented on this post and I was like, bro, you can find this guy at every Walmart checkout center in the world and you can date him. Nobody's dating guys that are Jack Black.
Honestly, I mean, Jack Black and I both have a very crazy attitude. And like you said, I've been very wild on this podcast. So, hey.
If you like Jack Black and you want a guy that's also got a heart and feelings.
And I got some poetry. So, hey, I can just, I think any woman who knows me who's watching this Kokomo Press podcast, their cortisol levels, they've already went through the chart. Come on now.
Come check it out.
I'm going to keep referencing that cortisol joke.
I like it.
It's the tism again. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I love tism. I wish was it you that sent that to the group that was like, or was it Courtney that sent to the group like what?
Oh yeah, that I found out I'm slightly on the autistic scale.
No, you're on the spectrum, but you have ADHD, so it falls onto it. And he took it because I'm getting evaluated next month to see if I do fall within the spectrum because I've been diagnosed with like so many mental illnesses and stuff that my doctor is like, yeah, we're gonna do another evaluation because like none of this makes sense, but this one thing would. They're
like, listen, you are the kitchen sink.
Yeah, but I don't think that I am.
Yeah, I believe you. I think a lot of it has to do with. I mean, there was a lady that was on a podcast I watched recently that was talking about how we've kind of overcorrected in the therapy part, where like we've let therapy rule our lives so much nowadays that like it's almost we ruminate too much on our problems that it becomes an anxiety and we end up they actually say that you're people who are if every time you felt anxious instead of going and talking to a therapist you went out and did a run, which I know that's not easy for everybody to do, but like if you went out and just got some endorphins going, you'd be better off than going to a therapist. That's like something. But if you ask therapists that, they're like, no, don't take my revenue stream away, don't do that.
Well, it's like being like I had been diagnosed with so many things that like it almost seems malicious the amount of things that I had been diagnosed with, because like I'd see a new doctor and then I'd get a new opinion and they just put it in my chart, whereas my doctor now like looked at my chart and was like, there's no way, Kim, there's no way. And then she was like, but like if you take this and this and you put it all together, it would make sense for this one thing. And I was like, oh, and like just since knowing that, I feel like I am a less depressed and less anxious person now that I have clarity of like, oh, well, now this makes sense why my world has always been this way. Yeah. But it hasn't changed me as a person.
You had a thyroid thing though going on too, right?
I do.
Because you've dropped. I mean, are we allowed to talk about it?
75 pounds.
Well, I didn't know. A lot of people get triggered when you talk about losing weight because they're like I've even seen in like posts when you make like I've lost weight, I still have more. And people are like, you're always beautiful, and it's like that's not what this is about. I was always beautiful. We're not talking about beauty. We're talking about
I've always been a beautiful person, and I think I was beautiful. You know, like last year when I started the journey, I think that I was. I think that I looked great then.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with beauty. It's all
I'm actually almost more insecure of my body now because I have never lived in this body as an adult, because I've never been this size as an adult. But I am like still struggling with like I have to get to a certain weight, but at the same time, like the more weight that I'm losing, the more that my body is hurting because of the autoimmune diseases that like are living within me. And usually that would be what would depress me or like kill my willpower and be like, you know, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. My body hurts and I hurt. Yeah. But like I keep pushing through because I know that as soon as I get an answer, it's going to help me not fall back to the ways that I was before, because I used to get told by a close friend of mine, like food doesn't taste as good as skinny feels, but like skinny hurts for me. Because I have arthritis and now I don't have any fluff in between the bones to like keep the cushion going. So like arthritis is like more painful the more weight that you lose, but I know that I am doing it all for a goal of like figuring out why does my body work the way that it does. And that's helped me figure out, okay, like, well, my body has done all of these things. Now let's figure out why my mind is working the way that it is. And so I've been able to do like self-reflection and try to help heal myself, because instead of like blaming this mental illness or this, and I'm anxious because of this, rather like blame something, be like, okay, let's ask the question to myself, why am I anxious right now? And what can I do to fix that?
That's a very healthy way. Because I think a lot of people, when they go into a mental health journey, and I think this is one of the things that I think it's kind of like a perpetuation of like, once you get the diagnosis, then it becomes like, and I don't mean this in a rude way, it becomes your identity, and it becomes it's like your excuse for not being a better person. Like if you found out that, you know, like let's say I walked into and I found out that like I have a problem, and then I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now I don't have to, you know what I mean? Now I don't have to, like if I found out, if I went to a therapist and they're like, you are a narcissist, and I'm like, okay, cool. Now if somebody, now I can act like that. I can just be that now. Yeah. I think that would be a really weird approach to life and to treating people. Whereas if you go into a therapy situation and you use it as like a way to figure out maybe what's going on, but then you're like, okay, let's fucking fix this. Yeah. Because a lot of these people, they just want to keep you on the reel for the rest of your life, and when you become a revenue. We've talked about this with other things, whether it's so many things. When they can commoditize something about you for your whole life and keep you on this wheel, I think like you're just chasing your tail forever, and then they just keep raking in money. And I think when you commoditize it, it just becomes I'm not comfortable with it anymore, because now you're making money. And I mean, I understand with doctors and stuff, because there is an end goal. Like, we're trying to fix this. We're trying to figure this out. But I am getting that feeling too. I have a doctor. He's a great guy, and I really like him. But I have a specific issue, and I went to physical therapy, and, you know, this is, you know, you're working out. And the guys at physical therapy are like, this doesn't seem like, it seems like there's something going on. Yeah. It's not just like you should just be working out. And I've been saying that the whole time, but I'm like, I'll listen to my doctor. So part of me feels like this is just another way to keep like that revenue stream going.
Well, that's like when my foot was broken. When my foot was broken, I went to the ER to get my foot checked. I don't even like when we were together 3 times, and then maybe 2 times before, and all the doctors would tell me, well, we don't really see anything on the x-ray, but if you lose some weight. So like I finally got tired of hearing that, and I went to my regular doctor and was like, okay, so like here's the thing. I think my foot's broken, but no doctors are taking me seriously because I'm overweight. I need you to do like run some tests and figure out why I can't lose weight, because like I work out at least 3 days a week. I work for 10 to 14 hours a day. I'm on my feet the constantly. Whole time. Yeah. And then I was able to drop like 35 pounds in 3 months when I went back to my podiatrist, and he did an x-ray and was like, something doesn't look right. We're going to do an MRI. Does the MRI, finds out that my foot had been broken for the last 3 years, and I had been working on it for 3 years broken, because nobody would take me seriously. It's like you finally get validated, but it's almost like you're even more angry, because you're like, I'm validated because I was right this whole time, but also like, how wrong were you? Yeah. How wrong were you? And there's no like repercussions. Like if anything, everything from here on out should be like them making it up to you. And like my podiatrist went like above and beyond, because I got a new one, because like this one was like finally listening to me. It's like, no, this isn't a weight issue. But because it had went so long, my surgery that I had to have was so much more invasive, and it like ruined my knee. I had to I feel like you might have a lawsuit on your hands with the other guy. No, I can't, because I had government insurance. When you have government insurance, you can't sue anybody for malpractice, because you basically... That seems like that's a weird way they're working together. Right. Yeah. Anyway, we got to get Seth out of here. He's got a lunch thing. So I did want to throw this out right before we go. Tell my people out there, we did lose Dragon Ball's artist. So rest in peace to Akira Toriyama. I know a lot of people out there. So young, 68. I know, and without him, a lot of black kids would not have, had a
something to watch at the end of the day. I know a lot of black guys that love Dragon Ball. It's like, and my little brother loved Dragon Ball growing up, so I used to watch it a lot.
Black people love Dragon
the
Ball
Reese Puffs.
and Jeff Hardy.
The Reese Puff cereal now.
Yeah, we bought some Goku Reese Puffs.
Hell yeah.
We didn't get Goku. We got Piccolo.
Oh yeah, we got Piccolo.
Oh man, he's the green one. Right.
Yeah.
My
I watched this
favorite.
with my brother.
He's
Anyway, anime. Autistic people, black people, and kids from all ages love that. Anime's the shit, dude. So anyway, rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. Thank you so much, Kim, for coming on again. I think you've been on a few times. Thank you, Seth, for hanging out.
Thank you, Seth.
Let me go ahead and run through it. This has been the Kokomo Press podcast. Over here in the black chair, we have Hypocrisy Jones, a.k.a.
Come out
Jordan
on
Bell.
Thursdays.
Come out and check us out. Over here in the green chair, we have Kim Stewart, a.k.a. Kim Jones in the future.
Holler at her at Fade.
Woo,
Get your
Fade
hair
Salon,
done.
Kim the Chemist, and the poet himself. Check out his poetry night on March 29th. It's at 6 to 8 p.m. at American Dream Hi-Fi. Go and check it out. This has been the Kokomo Press podcast. I'm Jordan Grainger. Bye, guys.
Take it
We
easy,
love
y'all.
you.
Choose.
Go get the Vicious Rose on Amazon.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah.
Pre-order on Kindle. Hey, you just listened to the Kokomo Press podcast. We thank you for tuning in. We hope you had a great time. If you did, go ahead and like us, subscribe to us, hit that notification bell, do all the things that help us get seen. Go find us over on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. Like us, follow us there. And if you want to really, really help us out, we now have a new thing called Facebook subscriptions. It's only $4.99 a month, and it helps us build out even more than what we have already. Helps us get more equipment, helps us put money into shows, because we give you comedy shows. We give you guys skits. We give you guys podcasts. We give you guys jokes. And if you want to be a part of a group of people that actually get to talk to us and tell us your input first and get to directly speak to us, and maybe even, help us write some of these jokes, you can be a part of the group. Join that subscriber base. It's only $4.99 a month, and it's not a lot, but it helps us out tremendously. And it's going to give you an opportunity to maybe win some merch here and there. We're going to do a lot of fun things with our subscribers. So please check us out everywhere you can. And if you want to, subscribe to our page. Thanks for listening to this podcast. We love you. Thank you. 2 kisses.